Hello there. So today I'm also in the one of my, not that a large number of locations where I'm recording my videos, as during this, May month, I would say I have only several options to be located in. So it's my, apartment, and also this specific, co-working place in my ex-university. So today I want to continue discussing the topic of, the differences in people's reactions from situation to situation. So in the previous video, I discovered and explained the scheme which you should follow in order to realize how many reactions to one particular situation actually can be. And today I want to, give you another example in terms of explaining the scheme. And if in the previous video I was going from the, the first, this most superficial level, and deeper and deeper and deeper to the deepest level. So today I want to go vice versa and start with, the deepest level of the scheme. So if you didn't watch the previous video, first of all, I highly recommend you to watch it in order to have, the whole picture of the topic of our discussion. And here I want to, in short words, explain this theme one more time in order to, communicate with you more maybe concrete. So the scheme is like that. So first of all, we have some situation and we have a person with some reaction. So first of all, we should analyze the particular attitude of a person to this particular situation. So it's about like people's reactions, people's attitude to this particular situation. And we have some, fact. So person feels that, person's attitude is like that, and then we should analyze and find out what leaded to this attitude. So here we go a little bit deeper, a little bit like lower but deeper, and we reach another level. It was called people's life approach, but I would call it a little bit in a different way, because the second and the third levels are kind of similar. They're highly connected to each other, so this is like the direct correlation between these two definitions. And I want to distinguish the second and the third level a little bit more. So I would call the second level, I would say, particular global situations that influenced people's, attitude, people's life approach significantly. So it's about particular situations, but they are more like global. And the third level, the deepest level and the most fundamental one, is called the life approach or the worldview. They are highly connected because if you had, for example, a secure worldview, you will probably, behave and act as you have actually a secure life approach. So this is like, the direct correlation. So I would distinguish these two levels. Okay, so today I want to, again, illustrate this scheme based on the example, but go not from the first level, but from the, the deepest one. So let's imagine a child, just a child from some family, from some household. So this child was born in a family with this context. So we have two parents, mother and father, and they have this child as a single child. So this child doesn't have any siblings, any pets, etc., etc. So only 3 people in the family. Parents are working extremely hard as they have some hardships with their financial statement. So they like first and foremost concern is their financials, and they spend the majority of their time in order to make a living, earn money, to pay the debts, to provide their family with any essentials needed. So it's about food, it's about, apartments fee, it's about bills, etc., etc. So they're mostly concerned about this part of the family problems, family situations. And this child is also included in their parents' problems. So, for example, they are having a dinner together, and a mother starts that kind of conversation, like, for example, Billy, me and your father are working extremely hard to pay the bills, to provide you with great education. So please be kind of, caring to us either. Don't spend a lot of money to something that you don't actually need. Be careful with your money. Don't be so, careless with them. We work very hard in order to, earn any penny, any cent of our salary. So please be careful with what we are working for. So they are, how to say this in English? They create the understanding in their child's mind, in their child perception, that money is something that is hard to earn. Money is something that is on the highest point, on the peak point of the essentials ever existed. So money is like the first and foremost need a person should think and be concerned about. And also, they are kind of, how to say, create the feeling guilty of the child for every cent they actually spend. So when they have some extra money, the child is given by their parents some amount of money, and before buying anything, even something not that expensive, something cheap, this child would probably think, oh, what would my mother say if I buy this? Should I actually buy it? So instead of thinking as a child, this child is obliged to think like a grown-up. This child should be concerned about every single penny they spend, and which is why the topic of money is becoming extremely, how to say, sensitive and important for this particular child. And should I really say that the problems of their parents shouldn't be spread on the child? No, it's kind of obvious. Child should be a child till some exact age. Children are not responsible for some hardships that their parents are going through. Of course, parents should explain to their children that money is something that is earned with hard work, and you shouldn't be like careless with them. But it doesn't mean that a child should care about your problems. A child has their own problems. Actually, they're like childhood problems, and if some parents' problems, like a plus, becoming a plus to their own problems. A child will probably become grown up very, very soon and very, very early. Yeah, so it's like the wrong way to go. Okay, just we just consider this, we just write down this context and continue. So this child from this family is growing up, so they finish the school, graduate from the university, start working, and what would be the probable attitude to work, to earning money, to anything material? We have actually two directions, and the first direction is to become extremely careful with money as their parents do. So it's also about reducing all extra spendings. Is also about how to say, it's also about some context, some situations when a person puts himself or herself in the situation when they earn not actually a lot. Why? To spend actually not a lot. So even if a person has a possibility with their background in terms of intellectual abilities, in terms of some soft and hard skills, even though they have a possibility, an opportunity to earn more, in order not to spend more, people can put themselves in the context of working for the low salary, for example. So it also exists. Okay. What we have in the second option, we have again superficially vice versa situation, but still they have the same basement, the same foundation. So the second option is to become a person who spends extremely a lot without any process of thinking, I would say. So they earn money and spend to the 0 pennies, like all of the money in the one day, for example. And here we can see again like a careless way of behavior, money, attitude, etc. But still the foundation is the same. A person is also doesn't want to spend extra money, which is why they live 0 amount of money in order not to spend for some extra. So here we can also, rely on the context that this person can actually create. So I can work for the lower salary comparing to the actually any possible salary, and buy some highly expensive needs. So it also can be about food or some essentials, but the cost of this seemingly essential needs, the cost is higher than average. So seemingly person just provide themselves with essentials, but the amount of money is decreasing in a more significant way than the average person. So of course we can have versatile variants of this context, of the situations, but you need to see the correlation. So the person from the very beginning of their lives, from the start of their childhood, was convinced that money is something insecure. Money is about insecurity. Money is about something dangerous. Money is something that you need to be extremely careful with. and in the, the best situation, you should have no connection with it. And with this concern, a person creates situation, a person creates their own context when they're grown up, where this story that he or she was told the situation became a reality. And the reality is that money is dangerous and you should live without them. You should live without them, you should hide from it. It's something that mustn't be in your life, which is why we have this variance of the context. And if you didn't notice, I actually explained two context, two levels of the scheme of identifying the differences, the difference of reactions of different people to the similar situation. So here we see the significant situation that influenced the person's character, forming, growing. It's about the communication with their family. And due to this context, due to this situation, the worldview of insecure worldview was created. And for example, we can have the situation when a person, we are talking about this particular child, when a person is working at some positions at some company for years, and he or she has no thought to go higher vertically and go higher subsequently in their salary. So for example, they earn $3,000 a month, for example. I don't know, the average salary in any country, okay. For example, salary is like the average, maybe even a little bit lower than average salary. It's somehow in some country. And working for years for the company at this position, this person with this background is not asking for growing as a specialist. And also, obviously, they're not asking for growing in salary. And this is kind of strange, right? Like, why is that? We see you're working hard, you have some, expertise in the sphere of yours. We see responsibility, we see dedication, we see professionalism, at least. And we also see the same salary. It's kind of strange. It's kind of weird. And for a person without that background, for example, we can have a person with a family with, for example, an average family. But in this family, relatives, parents, even though they had some problems, some financial problems, they don't spread their problems, their hardships with their children, as they understood that it's their responsibility to pay the bills, to provide their children with all needs, because they decided to create a family and to grow a child, and this is their responsibility to provide their child with all essentials they need. And a child is not responsible for parents' hardships. A child is not responsible for any financial spendings. This is just a child. Every child needs something to eat, needs something to wear, need some, spendings in order to kind of fit the system. So they need a school uniform, they need actually attend the school to buy some, how should I call it? Pens, pencils, rulers, etc., textbooks. And it can become a sensation for you, some insight for you, but also children need some extra money for their own spendings, and they need to learn how to spend money themselves. Well, for somebody it would become, a sensation, but this is like the basics. It's the basics. I would say people from this age, so it's maybe 4, 5, 6 years, they also need money. Not that much, as first of all, they actually don't have desires for a lot of money. So even little children's kids, they need money for their own. Even it can be about 10 cents. But they just have to know how to buy candy for themselves. Yep. So, due to these explanations, based on this example, children are not responsible for parents' hardships. Parents are responsible for that, and they are grown up. And also, they are responsible for their children. They are obliged to provide them, their children, with anything they need. In terms of normal context, of course. So, and again, go back to the second example. This child is a child of average family with the same, problems and hardships with financials, but parents decided to take responsibility themselves and, let their children live their childhood in a normal way. And if we put the second person, in the same situation of let's start from the third and second level of the scheme. So in this context, this child will probably have a secure worldview, as they were not convinced by their parents with the opposite fact, like the world is an insecure place. So even though there are some, challenges, we know how to stand it. We are able to stand it. So with this conviction, with this understanding, a person will probably look at the world objectively, as it's possible, and act actually in a secure way with the secure life approach. And subsequently, with this worldview, with this life approach, this person will probably put themselves in the situations and will actually create situations around them where they allow themselves act in a free way. In a secure way. And again, let's put this person in the same context with the first person. And first of all, I would mention that the second person wouldn't work for years at the same position and the same salary. So, of course, we should think about some specifics of the character. So, is it about the person who is extremely ambitious and who adores growing extremely fast? So, if we look at this context, this person will grow significantly in a short way, in the short period of time. So even during one single year of working, he or she would probably grow not only in positions, but also in salary. So he would change the position. It also can be vertical changing. So he started with some junior manager position, and after 1 year of working, ended with, for example, middle manager, and the salary therefore rise significantly as well. Or it also can be about some horizontal growth. So in that terms, a person would probably learn something new in your position, or even during working in this at the one position, at the start position, they learn something extra, and therefore they will, turned over another position, another horizontal position. So the functionality, the functions of this position are extremely different, and maybe the salary is the same, but this job is more interesting for this person, or even the salary is changed in terms of increasing. So what should be said? What should be said here? How to say? During this video, I realized that I, touched not really a lot of aspects, even in this example. This example is much deeper. Is much deeper than even I just explained, but I hope even explaining the scheme based on the example of money aspect, even in that illustration, was at least a little bit, I forgot the word. Effective for you, interesting for you to listen. Maybe you will look at your situation. Maybe you have some, money aspect problems, or your friends, relative have some situation with the money aspect, or it's also not about money. It's more about, the illustration of the scheme. And this scheme is extremely common, I would say. This scheme can be utilized in versatile context. So I hope you understood, the logic of utilizing this scheme in terms of different situation. So first of all, you should start with your personal attitude to the situation. And in the best situation, you should have a person with maybe the opposite attitude and reaction, or at least a little bit different reaction and attitude to the same situation. So you have two options, different options. And then you should rely on your own background, your own worldview, and the situations that created this worldview. And I would continue this topic in this next video. But I would leave one thought in the end of this video, like a spoiler for the next. If you know that you have a problem, you will know how to solve it. So if you understand that you have some challenge in your lives, maybe in your perception, your mindset, if you know that you have some hardships, you will definitely find out the solution, because you already know that you have something to fix. Remember it. If you don't know something and it influences your life, this is scary. This is awful. But if you know that something is happening in your perception, in your life, and it's some kind of uncomfortable things, this is great, because you will definitely find out the solution to change something in your life, to change something in your mindset in order to change your life. So remember, it's better to know than not to know. Yeah, okay, thank you for watching this video. I really adore you. I really extremely thankful for every view, for every like, for every follower. I'm extremely thankful for that, and I feel like I'm not talking to myself in the camera. I'm talking to somebody who is watching this video. So it's extremely precious. Like, for real, I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased and really thankful for that. So hope you find my videos interesting and it's kind of helpful maybe for you. If it's helpful, I think my goal is reached, to help through some knowledge of mine, through some observations of mine. If it's helpful, I won. I just won. So, okay, thank you. See you next time.